I'm Bob Harris, president of the Decorative Concrete Institute. Let's take a look at probably my favorite tool in my tool supplement, which is the 4-inch angle grinder. Also, we'll show you the variety of different diamond wheels that attach to the grinders. When you learn how to use this tool properly, this tool can truly become the artist's brush, if you will, depending on how it's used, as we'll demonstrate. A couple of observations when choosing a grinder. A lot of it is a matter of personal taste or personal preference. How does the tool feel in your hand? But some of the specifics that I look for are things like the RPM speed. I want a very high RPM, generally somewhere around 10,000 RPM when I'm choosing my grinder. And the high RPM speed, what that does is it smooths out the blade. I've found that the slower the speed, the blade has a tendency to wobble, and that could be troublesome, especially if you're trying to create some high-end decorative cuts. So I like a very high RPM blade. In addition, again, it's really up to the individual on the start and stop button. This button, for example, locks into place, as you can see here, and to turn it off, you simply go like that. I like to lock it into place simply because your hand would get tired if you're trying to hold it down into place during the duration of the saw cuts. We'll show you a variety of different blades that can attach to these blades. This is actually a blade that I developed. Had a lot of our students that have asked the question, why don't you come up with a 2-inch blade? So finally, I came up with a 2-inch blade, and it'll attach to most standard arbors. So on the grinder, it has a lock position, and you can see it simply threads off in this case. And once again, it'll attach to any standard arbor size. This blade is offered in a 1/16 inch width, an 1/8 of an inch width, and also up to a 1/4 of an inch width. So it really depends on the type of cut that you're making. The majority of the time, I'll use what we call a continuous rim blade, meaning there are no segments into it. I find that I get a much smoother cut when using a continuous rim. Look at the quality of the diamond that you're using. That's very important. You want to look at the life of the grinding disc, but also make sure it's not raveling the edges. Again, most of your standard grinders will come with a tool that allows you to take it off. Once again, you're locking it back into place, but it's simply, you have the mounting bolt or the nut, it simply comes off and fits on here. Moving over here, we've got what's called a crack chaser blade. This is used for making or creating a V groove in your concrete. This is really great for free form art. A lot of times I might try to create vines or a leaf in the concrete, and this is very effective for creating the V groove or a wide joint. A couple of safety observations. As we mentioned, safety is no game. All of your standard grinders will come with a safety guard. Inevitably, what you'll find is some of the technicians will, in fact, take this off. If you're cutting with this high RPM tool without the guard, please be careful. Safety is no game. In addition to that, protect your eyes. Anytime this tool goes on or turns on to the on position, you must have proper eye protection. A bare minimum, you want a dust mask and ear protection as well. Let's show you how these tools can be used. The 4-inch grinder is one of my favorite tools, and here's an example of where it's very useful to terminate the saw cuts where the Sawtech saw didn't get into the corner without an overcut. Remember, safety is not a game. Proper dust mask, safety protection, and in addition to that, we're going to use a shop vac to collect the airborne dust. Remember, if the grinder doesn't have a guard on it, you really need to be careful because this is spinning at a high RPM. But let's show you how a grinder can be used in this application. One last tip. As the blades wear down, the width of the blade might not necessarily match the width of the stand-up saw or the Sawtech saw. So if that is the case, you'll watch how I kind of route it out to make sure that they do in fact match. This tool is such precision that you can actually do very nice detail, such as maybe a mitered corner. Now normally we would chalk a line down or scribe a line, but I'll show you for demonstration purposes how detailed you can get with this tool. The grinder is such a versatile tool that you don't have to use it for just cutting straight lines or terminating lines. I use this grinder freehand quite extensively and just create graphics with nothing chalked down on the floor. So once you gain confidence, this will probably be one of the most valuable tools that you can put in your tool bag. Let me show you some fun ways to use the grinder. As I mentioned, it's a lot of fun just to go for it, and don't be afraid of this grinder. A lot of times too, I don't use the grinder in the traditional sense to cut a line. Let me show you what I mean. Four-inch grinder again with a crack chaser blade. This is just simply a wider blade. It really makes a nice cut. It's great for free-form art using this blade. It just makes a nice wide cut as opposed to the 1/8" blade. I'll show you how it works. Here's another 4-inch grinder with a customized 2-inch blade that I developed several years back. This is great for really detailed work, so it's fun to just go for it and have some fun with this type of a blade. We'll just show you how it works. Maybe just come in here, just get some real basic designs down. Maybe you even want a leaf pattern. Put some leaves in your vine here. Real quick. And let's show you how this works. All right, so using our 2-inch blade, we've created a real basic vine. Sometimes it's fun to use this, again, in the untraditional sense, which is not to cut a straight line or a curved line, but to create texture. I love working with different textural values. And then when we come back and stain the vine, those textural differences will really play through in a different color. Remember, to get the most out of your tools, use them properly and, more importantly, use them safely. I'm Bob Harris.